Hey guys, this is Simeon. This is my first YouTube video. Today I've decided that I'm going to start by talking about growing up as an INFP male. If you don't know, INFP is a type that is found in the Myers-Briggs personality test. If you take that test, which I will give the information down in the comments, or actually down in the information section, um, you can take that test and it will tell you about yourself. There are 16 different types, I believe, and mine is very specifically rare as a male, so I'm going to talk about that today. I think about 1 to 2% of males are INFPs. Um, just a couple things that INFPs tend to be. They tend to be emotional. They tend to be very deep thinkers. They tend to be very insightful, very idealistic, and um, they're kind of like undercover heroes. They fight for people and they fight for right and real justice in the world. So I like being an INFP, but there were some very big cons to being an INFP growing up as a male, and I just want to talk about a couple of those things today. First off, I can remember as a child, I was always plagued with like deep emotion and amazing empathy, even at a young age. Um, just seeing homeless people and being brought to tears or wanting to help them, and um, I've always remember being like a nurturer, a teacher, an encourager, and a helper personality, which is typically what you might find in females most of the time. So, of course, um, that led to a lot of emotional strife for me, just because people don't know how to deal with that. Throughout my life, my masculinity was always challenged um, by other people. Um, and just because the society that we live in America is so, the Western society is so, about machismo and, homophobia. Guys don't want to be gay or perceived to be less than male. Meanwhile, men don't know what being a man is. You ask them, what's being a man? And like, you get 50,000 answers. For me, I had to figure out for myself what being a man is. And I'm firmly confident in that now. Thank God. It wasn't always that way. So it led to a crisis of identity where, I had very low self-esteem throughout my life, and a lot of depression dealing from like me not being able to accept how much I feel things, and me not being able to accept that I don't fit the mold that society has given us for a male. And I'm wondering like, what is wrong with me? And um, just it took years of me having to deal with that, and fight with that and struggle with that and learn to accept myself, um, for me to be comfortable where I am now. Um, Throughout my life, I didn't really connect with most males, just just due to me not being willing to sacrifice who I am to appease that societal standard. Even though I struggled with not fitting that standard, I still did not sacrifice who I am to fit that standard. Um, while other guys were playing basketball and football and all those different things, me, I'm watching ballet and singing songs and learning how to dance and writing poetry and reading literature and reading tons and tons of books, because, INFPs desire knowledge. We desire to understand things and to see all the different facets of a situation. And playing basketball, just, football, all those different things, they didn't catch me. There was no reason for me to be interested in those things. And even to this day, I'm not interested at all. The only time I get interested in sports really is when other people are interested. And if I love somebody, it's interesting to me to be interested in the things that they're interested in, just because I love them. I get joy from seeing other people have joy. I'm happy when other people are happy, and it's very hard for me to be, joyful when other people aren't joyful. So I like to bring joy. I like to to laugh a lot. I like to make other people laugh and just, bring life to situations because life's already, very hard. There's a lot of things in life that, people can struggle with. And I don't want to be one of them. So when people are in my presence, I want them to laugh. But anyway, I guess like number three would be I've always desired to connect with people. But what I found is that most people don't think as deeply as I do. And that sounds very immodest, but I think it's true. I don't think people see the power there is in thinking deeply about things and seeing them from multiple views so that you can get a full understanding of things. I think that is a great way to go about life. It doesn't mean you have to sacrifice your morals, but it does mean that you can understand what other people's ideas are and why they think the way they think and why they do the things they do. Because that way you can respond and maybe find a compromise that doesn't sacrifice anybody or anybody's ideas. So people aren't always that deep thinkers as INFPs are. For me personally, also is and I think this is for probably most INFPs, if not all. We develop emotional maturity, I think, faster than other people because we feel them so deeply. And if you don't learn how to deal with those emotions, they will eat you alive. And so we think and we feel so much internally that it becomes this ball of just like mess, and you have to find a way to deal with them. You claim those emotions and you say, "This is what I feel, and this is how I'm going to positively deal with those things." And I don't think that many other people that aren't INFPs are those types, at least. Develop that emotional maturity. They aren't forced to, at least. Like I think INFPs are. Because we're so very idealistic and we want everything to be right, to be good and fair and righteous, people don't always live up to our standards, And as a child, it was hard because, adults, don't always do the right thing and they're not perfect. And, that's parents and everybody and teachers. And I think that I threatened a lot of adults with my questions. I threatened them with my emotional maturity and how well thought out things I had to say were when I challenged something. And that's just adults, which I can deal with, but but when it comes to other children, they're just put off and confused by you. Like you are, you're like a three-headed ox to them. First of all, who needs an ox? Second of all, who needs a three-headed ox? For kids, they just want to have fun, and me, sometimes fun was at too much of a, it's too much of a sacrifice. If you mean having fun is making this person feel bad, I don't want to have anything to do with it. And you know what? I'm going to tell you why it's the wrong thing to do. And if I'm ruining your fun, good, because you shouldn't be doing that anyway. Not that I police people, but I kind of am. I'm a fighter for what's right, and when I know something's wrong, I'm gonna stand up for what's right, especially when it has to do with people, receiving injustice. I'm very big on justice, and I want people to be everybody in my presence, whether we call ourselves great friends or not. I want everybody to be in a good frame of mind, and I don't think, many children have that really in their thought process. After the world has gotten to them, in middle school and high school, it's even worse because at that time they've lost that innocence and they've had enough people hurt them, to where they feel like it's kind of a dog eat dog world. And I don't think that INFPs can live in a world like that. We refuse to, I think, at least for me, I think all INFPs might agree with me that we refuse to live in a world where it's just dog eat dog. At least we refuse to be a dog and we refuse to eat other people. It's not right. And I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna play that game. And I've been like that my whole life. And I think sometimes people just want you to shut up and do the wrong thing, and let's have fun doing it. And my moral compass just says no. It's not gonna work like that. Like I don't do that. Um, so I find that in my life, like I invest in people. Um, a lot of energy. If I care about somebody and I want to take our relationship deeper, um, I'll give and I'll give and I'll give of myself, of my time, of my resources, um, and then get no reciprocity. Um, I don't know if it's that I'm still putting people off, like my emotions might be too deep, although I've matured so much now that I know how to give people just enough that they know who I am, but they don't need to be. You don't need to be privy to just how deeply I think about things. You don't need to be privy to just how deeply I feel things, because sometimes I feel like that can be, um, it could be a hindrance to people actually getting to know you because they're afraid of what you have to say. They're afraid of what you think. They're afraid of your insight. They're afraid of. It's kind of a superpower to be able to think so analytically and find all the different facets of a situation. Um, and because other people don't think on that line, when you pull them there by saying, "Hey, da 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 da," at this level, and they've been thinking about it at this level, and then they're pulled up here, I think it blows their mind, and they start to get threatened by you, and maybe just people, um, maybe they just get too afraid. I don't know. This is just me kind of free talking at this point. I love people, and I find that they are maddening. Like people. Oh man, everybody has their own baggage, and everybody has their own struggles to deal with in life. For me, um, it's always been accepting myself, and at this point in life, I finally do, and I am at so much peace with myself, with the world. There's still problems in the world, and there's still battles to be had as far as receiving justice and on several fronts. Um, but the way that I'm made, and the way that I think, and the way that I'm wired, I think is beautiful, and I think that all INFPs have a certain spark, a certain light that we need to give the world, um, and we have a voice that needs to be heard because the way we think is so much about furthering um, good in the world. It's so much about furthering right in the world. And if we don't speak, who will? Um, if you're an INFP or one of those types out there and this resonates with you, I want to just encourage you not to hide your light. You know, fight for people and fight for right and fight for what's real, and refuse, as you've always done probably, to give in to societal standards that tell you to stuff those things that you've been given to share with the world. Um, keep fighting for the underdog. Keep being misunderstood like we always are. But as long as you know that you're standing for what's right and for what's good, you can be at peace with yourself. Um, don't try to do things just because other people say you should. If it doesn't vibe with you and with your moral compass, you're gonna hate yourself for for giving in to some bull crap that somebody hadn't even thought about. They're just doing. Um, keep thinking deeply. Keep loving deeply. Keep loving people and doing what you need to do to be okay with being who you are. So at this point, I'm just rambling, so I'm gonna quit this video. But thank you for listening. I'm probably gonna be making a lot more of these videos in the future. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you guys have anything to say, whether it be good or bad, I don't care. Just sound off in the comments below. And thanks again. Simeon out. Peace.